Hi Danielle, how are you?
Good, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. So I'm so happy to have you here and for us to chat. So just let everyone know a little bit more about who you are and what it is that you do,
Yeah,
and we'll take it from there.
awesome. Well, I'm Danielle Sabrina. I created the What Vibes Your Tribe, and basically, I'm a business intuitive, and what I do is really my focus is just helping people really find their ideal clients, figure out really how to engage with them, and create that kind of that tribe.
Okay.
Find their tribe. That's where it came from. So yeah, I'm
Okay.
loving it. I love all the people that I'm like attracting. It's great.
Okay. And I was looking at your website and I just want you to share a little bit more about your backstory in terms of like
Yeah.
your journey, how you got there, and just, like if you have some words of motivation to anybody that's going
Yeah.
through something really tough right now.
Well, yeah. So let me take you back to where it all began. I was a teen mom.
Okay.
I was a delinquent high school dropout.
Hmm.
By the time I was 19, I had both of my daughters. And I just kind of was like, I can't do this. Like, I can't bring my kids into like a situation where I'm not going to be able to provide them for anything. I'm not going to be able to, like what I was working at Kids Foot Locker. Like, I was like, what am I doing with myself? Like,
Hmm.
what is this ever going to lead to?
Hmm.
And, I came from a shaky background, a child, a lot of people do.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was always just very determined to break the cycle.
Okay.
Like I'm not going to recreate that. I'm not going to fall into that. I'm not going to be under someone's thumb. I'm not going to like have to rely on assistance, stuff like that. So, I was like, I'm gonna figure it out. Like, and I just kept applying to places. And
Hmm.
that was like back in the day with like the newspaper. And I know that like that's just not even relevant anymore, which I'm like, wow, am I old all of a sudden? And so I would like apply for administrative jobs or
Hmm.
just, anything that I could try to work for like a company that,
Yeah.
because I was like, okay, this is going to be, again, I dropped out of high school. I barely went to high school. So that right there is already
Hmm.
difficult. And it was just like, crickets. Every time I sent out a resume or like called and followed up or had an interview, they were like, we really like you, but you don't know how to use like Microsoft Office. You don't know how to use Excel, things like that. So I
Hmm.
was like, all right, whatever. Like, I'll figure it out. Like, if this is what's preventing me. And I just like started to train myself on those programs.
Okay.
But in the meantime, I was like, I'm still not going to give up. I saw this ad for Fidelity Investments that was hiring. Well, it's technically it's called a registered representative, but it's
Okay.
basically a stockbroker.
Okay.
And in the ad, it said college degree preferred. It didn't say required. So I was like,
Okay.
bingo, like,
You're just using that terminology and just making
yeah,
it
like,
work for
all
you.
right, sweet, I'm going for it.
Yeah.
Like, in my family it was like, what, you can't work at Fidelity. Like, come on, you're like, you dropped out,
Yeah.
like you're just setting yourself up for failure. And I was like, whatever, like
Hmm.
like whatever, I don't care, I'm doing it. Like, I'm just gonna try. What's the
Yeah.
worst case scenario? They're gonna be like,
No.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I called the phone number on the ad and like they take you through these questions and I went through them and then I ended up getting an interview. So I was like, yes, like that was like my moment, because
Yeah.
I was like, it was like the first time that I was like, oh, like I could get a job that's like better than what like my friends are in like college right now,
Yeah.
you know? And so I went to the interview
Hmm.
and before the interview, I went to Barnes and Nobles and I got like this book on like what Wall Street is all about
Yeah.
and stuff. And I was like, okay, like I have no idea what the frig, excuse my language, any of
Yeah.
this stuff is. Like I have no idea. So I went into the interview and I was like, listen, I don't even know how to read the Wall Street Journal. Like I've never even like I picked it up at I told them, like I told the person interviewing me, I was like, I picked it up at Barnes and Nobles. I felt really cool holding it, but like I
Don't know.
was like, I don't even know what this means. Like, what is the Dow? Like, what is that? Like, I don't
I don't
I
even know
just
what that
was
is either.
yeah, I don't get it. But I was like, listen, like I want like I'm a fast learner. Like
Hmm.
I am dedicated, I'm a loyal person. Like I can go with the flow. Like if change happens, I just think it's inevitable and I roll with it. Like, I was just like, listen, give me a chance, please,
Yes. Yeah.
And they did. And
Okay.
I ended up passing my Series 7, which at the time was the third hardest exam in the United States.
Hmm. Okay.
So that was my real first moment of I can do anything I set my mind to.
Yeah, success. And how did it feel at that point once you like got the job and you got settled? How did you feel at that point?
Phenomenal.
Yeah, I can
Yeah, I was
imagine.
like, I felt like I was like balling. I was like, you know, I'm like 19 years old. I'm a stockbroker. I was the youngest person that I knew at Fidelity, and
Hmm.
it was like 3,000 people, and
Wow.
I didn't come across anyone else that was younger. You know, I
Okay.
didn't like. I was like, this is great. Like I was starting to understand like the concept of really building things and what it would take to like work my way up in a career and
Yeah.
whatnot. And I just was like a sponge.
Okay. So you're just absorbing everything.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like, I would never had my ego in the way. I always was like, okay, I want to learn that. If it's something new, I want to learn it. Like, I want to learn it and I want to be the best at it.
Okay.
From there, like, fast forward, I got recruited to be the director of financial planning for a wealth management firm. And by the time, there's some things in between, but
Yeah.
so it's like 22,
Yeah.
and I was making like well over $100,000 a year.
Wow.
And that at the time, I'm 34 now. So, I mean,
Okay.
it was like a while ago, but
Yeah.
I think that's a lot of money
Mhm.
now. But
Yeah, it is. Like a lot of people don't make that in a job. So,
right. So, but I mean, for me, then I was like,
mhm.
well, like
Yeah.
I was for real. Like I was so, like I was like, I felt like, how much better can it get?
Yeah.
So, I stayed there for like 5 years, and I just was like, okay, I achieved everything that I thought would make me happy.
Hmm.
I thought having a big house, going on vacations anytime I wanted, my kids had anything they wanted. Like my kids were wearing like designer crap, like,
Yeah.
anything. Like I just was like, because I had nothing growing up. So
Yeah.
I
More.
like
Yeah.
that. I know you can't buy that, but like at the time, that was kind of my mindset.
Yeah.
Like, like,
Yeah.
and I was just like, I'm not happy. I'm just not happy. Like, and I kind of started that self-sabotage cycle that I've done
Hmm.
to myself when I was younger, like when I was a teenager. And I kind of like, I never really resolved that baggage.
Mm.
I buried it.
Mm.
And it started coming back up, and I ended up getting divorced.
Okay.
I quit my job. I decided I was going to open up retail boutique stores, which like great experience. But thinking back, I'm like, well, really, what were you thinking?
What? Why? Like, why didn't it work? Like, was it because of like, the time constraint, or like, was it just time demanding and taking away
I was just going through a lot
other
of stuff.
stuff? Okay.
Yeah, a lot of emotional stuff. Like it was in the middle of my divorce,
Hmm.
and it just things just started snowballing. And I just again had so much baggage that I just didn't deal with, and then I was so focused on like looking perfect.
Yeah.
Outside world, like that for real was like my motivation was like
Hmm.
to look perfect, that it killed me inside eventually.
Yeah, because you're trying to portray this image and keep up with that image and have everything like perfectly aligned so that no one will know what's really going on the
Yeah.
inside.
Well, that's what I mean, that's that I built my whole self-esteem on that, which,
Mm-hmm.
back then I was like, okay, I won't look like a loser being pregnant in high school, because when I was in high school, like that was not cool. Like that
Hmm.
today, like there's the teen mom, and like kids are like pregnant left and right. And I'm like, yeah, I'm like, my kids are in high school. I'm like,
Yeah,
and they're like, it's common for
yeah.
other kids to be in high school to be pregnant. It was not common. It was not cool. It was like frowned upon, like
Hmm.
in a whole nother level. I remember like not being able to even hang out with my friends. Like their parents didn't want them around me. So
Wow.
that was, I like that kind of drove me. Like, I'm going to create this. Now you guys can see, like I did something with myself.
Hmm.
So I ended up just closing the stores. I
Hmm.
had 3 of them, and I just was like, I can't do it.
Yeah.
And I closed them. And I filed for bankruptcy. I just wiped out everything because I was so overwhelmed with it that I just like my life and my business, like I couldn't even, like I just had to let it go.
Hmm.
And I told myself from that point forward that I'm not going to do something again until I fix myself first.
Mm.
Because no matter what I do, I'm going to end up sabotaging it if I don't heal every single piece of me that's inside.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. And to this day, I very rarely have things come up, but if I do, on the spot, I deal with it.
Mm.
Like if something triggers inside me that I'm like, okay, what's going on? How do I release that?
Yeah.
And that's so after the stores and whatnot, I kind of went back to corporate, not as an employee, but as a contractor. And I consulted with them. I did a lot of media stuff. I did a lot of just growth. I've always been building businesses.
Mm-hmm.
And I still knew like this was not truly
Enough.
fulfilling.
Enough, yeah.
Because it wasn't me. Like I still had to kind of put that like I'm a business intuitive. Like I can't talk about that with them because that's like it's corporate. Like
Yeah.
they'll be like, yeah, go back to woo woo world or whatever.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
yeah, no one's. And I said, okay, I'm going to like save up enough money that I can just pay what I need to pay, and I'm going to launch my new business, and it's going to be my way. I'm just going to do it. I'm not going to wait around until my website is perfect. I'm not going to figure everything out. I'm just going to get in there and I'm going to do it. And that's what I did. I did it on April 16th of this year. I launched my Get Happy, Make Money, my Danielle Sabrina, like, and I built my list. I sold out of my coaching program.
Awesome.
I'm selling my course, like it sells every day. Like, and I have millions of other things I'm working on. Like that's just scratching the surface of it.
Mm-hmm.
The hardest thing to do though was to just go with it.
Yeah, and stick to one thing, and,
Well,
and
yeah, stick to one thing, but just getting in there and doing it. Because
yeah,
when you take something, and a lot of my clients, they struggle with this. I'm like, listen, don't worry about being perfect. Don't worry about it. Because trust me, it is not going to serve you.
yeah.
Everything that I worried about being perfect before I even launched my site, I'm not even like I don't even recognize like
Anymore, yeah, because you're so like above and beyond that
it's
it
so
doesn't
not
matter.
me because I was so focused on like what looks perfect to other people. Like what do business coaches look like?
Yeah, mm-hmm. Yeah,
And that's when I was like, okay, I want the graffiti. Like I have a big personality. I'm not soft spoken. I
mm-hmm.
like to just kind of put stuff out there, say what's going on. Like I'm a mover. I take action quickly. Like if you ask me to do something, it's done.
Yeah,
Like it's just, that's what I do.
mm-hmm.
And so I was just like, I want my brand to reflect that.
Yeah.
And anybody that knows me knows that I'm like the typo queen. For real. Like, I don't even know. Like the struggle with content is so real for me that like, I'm just like, I'm over it.
So it's just like don't get caught up with all those small details that they don't really matter. Like
No, they don't.
the bigger picture is
Stop
more.
someone.
Yeah, the bigger picture is more important, right?
Absolutely. It's never stopped someone from logging into my list.
Yeah.
It's never stopped someone from buying a coaching package with me. It has never stopped somebody from joining my Facebook group. Like, it's what it is.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna like right now, I move so quickly. I don't have time to wait around for someone to be like looking over my stuff. I don't have time for it right now.
Mm-hmm.
Posting it up there and I'm moving along.
Yeah.
And a really good example of this is, and I should have sent you, I'll send you over one of the modules,
Okay.
is my What Vibes Your Tribe course.
Mm-hmm.
Because I normally am so hung up on like the visual part of things. Like,
yeah, me too.
Like I mean, ideally I would have hired somebody to create like these beautiful slides rather than, the kind of simple ones that I use.
Yeah.
And so in the course, like halfway through it, I was like working with my clients. I'm like, okay, listen, you guys, would it be more beneficial for me to wait to deliver this valuable content for you that you're getting immediate results on 2-3 months down the road so that it can look nice?
Or get it
No.
done. Yeah.
That's the value then would be in the visual.
Yeah. And not the actual substance and the content of it
Exactly.
all. Yeah.
And I was like, so follow my example.
It's powerful.
I just did it. I did each module. When I did it the day that it was released. Because I released it before I put it for sale. I released it over 5 days.
Mm-hmm.
So I would talk to everybody, what's going on, what's everyone struggling with. I'd be making notes, and I'd bust it out.
Mm-hmm.
I'd just throw my Camtasia on, like my microphone, and I would just be like, "Listen, let's go. Like this is where you guys are at. Let's move along."
Yeah.
And then I created a course within that week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then now that course, since the time that I put it for sale on my website at the end of April or maybe the beginning of May, I gotta look. I haven't looked in a few days, but the last time I looked, I've gotten like $1,400 from it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
it's a $200 course, like, and I get great reviews on it. So I'm just like, this is that's what I'm teaching my people. Like, relax.
Yeah.
Put it out there and go, just like you're doing with this video right now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not gonna be perfect, like,
No, no, who
yeah.
wants perfect? I don't want perfect. I don't want, that's like, I don't want to listen to that at all.
Yeah. So yeah, that's really
So, yeah,
powerful.
that's where it's.
Okay. And if you had like one piece of advice to like, even though you've like, there was a lot of like value bombs that you just dropped, but like, if there's one piece of advice that you could give someone who's starting their business or like in the midst of, getting up from like startup stage to ramp up stage and perfectionism is getting in their way, what would you say that they should do? Like, what's like one like golden nugget that you would share with someone?
Figure out what your limiting beliefs are. There's got to be some sort of buried limiting belief or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's powerful. Okay, well, thank you so much,
You're so
Danielle.
welcome.
Yes, for chatting with us, and we'll talk soon. And all of Danielle's information will be listed down below this video.
Yeah, thank you so
Okay, you're
much.
welcome.
All right.